right, welcome. We are live. How's everybody doing today? Happy Wednesday. Great to see you here today for another live stream. Let me check my mic levels. I think we're all good to go for the next hour or so. Yeah, so we'll hang out for the next hour and just talk smart home stuff. We'll do a Q&A. If you guys have any questions, this is a great time to submit those to me. What I'll do is I'll actually do a Q&A here soon where you can submit questions at the top of the chat. That way I don't miss anything. And I'll go through those. But yeah, how you guys doing today? It's great to be here and hang out, talk smart home stuff. Let's say hi to some folks real quick. Also, I did pin at the top of the chat where you can become a channel member. Also, there's a join button down below if you want to support the channel that way. I usually try to say that. I see we do have a lot of channel members in here, so thank you guys so much for the support and for being channel members. We got Green Arrow here from Pittsburgh. What's going on, Green Arrow? Frederick Falk is here. Frederick, how you doing, man? Lone Star Trent, Paul, Joe from Staten Island, New York, having a great day. I am having a good day. It's been a little bit busy here the last half of the day so far, but going well. I can't complain at all. Sam is here. What's going on, Sam, with the HomeKit, the Apple Home? Sorry, and I did notice my my little intro screen still says HomeKit, the little countdown, so I'll have to change that one of these days, I suppose, to Apple Home. But we got the Apple Home stickers there. Good evening. Eric from the Netherlands is here. Manuel from Houston, Texas. I bet it's hot down there. Today, I was looking in my truck. I just got out right before this live stream, and it was 95 degrees outside. So it's getting hot. And what makes that worse is the humidity here. It's been brutal. So summertime has finally caught up to us, and it is hot. Let's see here. We got Trey. What's up, Trey? Hunter from Huntsville. Eric, Mark, happy hump day from UK. All right, Mike Q is here. George, Silverhammer Surveillance is here. What's going on, George? How you doing, man? All right, good stuff. We got
I can't complain. Thanks for asking.
Gotta love live streams and Siri every time. Speaking of Siri, I was just actually, as this countdown was loading, I was reading, let's see if I got my buttons working here. Do you guys see this? So Apple is testing AI chatbots. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts. I just started reading on that, but that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see where that goes. You guys messed around at all with any of the AI stuff? So it's kind of, Apple's basically creating an AI-powered chatbot that some engineers are calling Apple GPT. So maybe Siri will improve a little bit. What you guys think about that? Let me change this to live chat too as we get going here. And that way I can see your messages. Manuel says it's over 102 there. Whew. I bet you the heat index here is over 102, I would imagine. It is, it's hot. Let's see, let me change some things real quick. Alrighty, all right. Looking for a whole house water flow monitor that supports HomeKit, either native or through Homebridge. Any thoughts? So I don't know of any, Evan, that monitor the water flow natively. I have heard of some that work with Homebridge. I think, let me see if I can find one. Trying to remember the name of it. I want to say Moen Flow. That was it. I almost said Flowin. That's not it. But yeah, Moen Flow is one that, let's see if we can get that pulled up. I believe I've seen, is that it? That's not the one I was thinking. Maybe that is. Yeah, I think that is. I think some people have gotten this into Homebridge. So if you have Homebridge, your best bet, I don't know if anybody else here has done one of these, but just look for some Homebridge plugins. Some seemingly reliable Homebridge plugins is where I would start, because I don't know of anything like that that supports HomeKit natively. So let's see. won't be Chat GPT as Microsoft owns that. Yep. So they're saying like they can start integrating this in with Siri, which would be awesome. We'll see how that goes. 98 here and a heat index of 105 tomorrow. I bet it's probably, yeah, that's probably about right here. Why does Philips Hue lights always have an issue? I do not know. That's interesting because usually Philips Hue does pretty good. So what I'm going to do here, guys, I'm actually going to go ahead and create, let me remove this pinned comment, and we're going to do just like Q&A today. So you guys can ask me questions. Let's see, I'm going to unpin that, and I'm going to do a Q&A, start Q&A, submit questions here. So this is going to be pinned at the top of the chat. So if you want to ask me something directly, you can do it using the Q&A. Okay, so that should be pinned at the top of the chat, whichever side the chat is for you guys. And I will go through those kind of as we go through the next hour and try to answer everybody's questions to the best of my ability, and also chat here in the main comment section. So Paul, hey, just traded cars and I ordered me a carpool ride, which is a way to get, oh, okay, I have no idea how to say that, which is a way to get CarPlay. Yeah, I've seen some different ways to get CarPlay. I still don't have CarPlay, believe it or not. I need to get on that. Have you heard of the ReFOS? And I don't know how to say that either. I'm struggling with words today. ReFOS is the way I read it. I don't know if that's right. I think it's a discount of the Maris brand. I bought 3 of their smart plugs, one connected to HomeKit immediately, but the others not so much. Yeah, that was weird. That their products look, I have heard of them, to answer your question. They look identical to a lot of the Maris stuff. So let me pull up Amazon. I had a lot of these on that, well, some of their stuff was on the Amazon Prime Day list that we did. And yeah, speaking of, you guys let me know, drop in the comment section there. Or whichever side that's on. Drop in the comments if you got anything. I know people started getting their Amazon Prime Day stuff, so if you got anything smart home related from Prime Day, probably start getting those packages now. Any big projects coming up, would love to hear about that as well. But let me see, and if anybody else has any experience with this brand, let me know. I've not used any of their products personally. But this here is ReFOS. I just feel like I'm saying that wrong. But they have smart switches. You can see these look identical to a lot of the Maris stuff. I don't know what's going on with that. It's another Chinese brand for sure. Yeah, very affordable stuff. I don't know how well they work though. Let's see. Jeff from Michigan, what's going on, Jeff? Jeff, click the like button. Least we can do to support Shane's channel. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. And you are supporting the channel even more by being a channel member. So I do appreciate that. And yes, hit the like button. I think the YouTube gods like that or something. So I'm told. Let's see. Yes, please use the pinned link at the top to post your questions if you want to submit something directly to me. So I guess we'll keep trying to remind you guys of that throughout the next hour. For anybody who might be just joining us, we'll do a Q&A here. Another thing that I noticed in the past week, not a lot of news, but I did see that Leviton updated their smart switches to support Matter. So if you use Leviton stuff, this could be good. So it looks like these are the products that now work with Matter. So they got a smart dimmer, a couple of smart dimmer, smart switch, smart plug, and a mini plug. So that's another smart plug. Excuse me. So we're just seeing more and more Matter stuff. I know last week we had quite a few new Matter products to share, and it seems like every week there's just more. And there's actually something else I saw, and I can't remember for the life of me what it is now, just in the past week since last week's live stream. But yeah, it's just more and more Matter stuff and updates we're seeing. So I don't know. I think that's probably a good thing. I'm actually working on a video coming out that's going to just share an updated perspective of my whole Matter experience and kind of where it's going, where we've been, and just my overall thoughts on the subject. Christian, hey Shane, thanks again for the help. I went with the Reolink 8 camera bundle. I've got them on home using the on-if plugin with scripted. The only thing I haven't figured out is that the live feed freezes. I'm not sure why the live feed would freeze. Different things I'm sure to look at there, but if it's working and then it freezes, that's kind of weird. Possibly could be your stream resolution. That might be something to adjust. Not sure, but yeah, mine, I've had, let's see, I've got 4 or 5 Reolink cameras all plugged into HomeKit through scripted as well. And they work pretty good for me. The only issue I have is that I have to update the plugins through scripted fairly often. I haven't gotten my auto updater working like I need it to. But other than that, they work great. Did Leviton update their shades to support Matter yet? Leviton. Does Leviton sell shades? I am not familiar. Let's see. Are you thinking about Lutron maybe? Possibly Lutron. I don't know of shades by Leviton. I just did a quick search. Decorative, well, Leviton decorative shades. Let's see if this is it. Maybe I'll learn something new today. Let's see what we got here. I don't think that's what we had in mind. Yeah, so maybe Lutron. Maybe that's what we're thinking. I need a Matter liquor fridge because liquor matters. Nice. I like it. All child devices still have to buy. Okay. Thank you, Frederick, for answering some questions there. Let's see if we got any questions in the Q&A. So I have to kind of go, we do have some questions. So I have to kind of go back and forth between the Q&A and the live chat. I'll try to keep up with both the best I can. Let's see here, live chat. So what is the best motion sensor for HomeKit? Okay, well, good question. Thank you for this. Let's see. In my experience, I'll share with you some of the ones that I use. Let's pull up Amazon just to give you a good visual. So Aqara motion sensor. I'm a huge fan of these. So they have the original one, which is good. I mean, you might as well pay $5. Oh, they're on sale right now too. 15% off it looks like. This one right here is really good. Now you do have to have an Aqara bridge or an Aqara hub for this one. Let me see. I'll try to drop links from these in the chat when I can. Oh shoot, I have to go back and forth. So that's going to be hard. Top chat. Aqara. Yeah, so maybe I won't drop links that much. These are affiliate links if I do get those in there. But so this one is a good one if you have Aqara hubs because they're super affordable. They work really well. They do connect over Zigbee, you know. So it just depends on your thoughts on that. Also, the Eve motion sensor is another favorite. I actually have one, I think, right over here. I've got, if you can only see my desk, I am surrounded by smart home products, actually all Matter products, but this is another really good one. This one is great because for one, it supports Matter, so it'll work with any smart home ecosystem. It connects over Thread, so it's a thread-based motion sensor, which means you don't need any additional bridge or hub like you do with that Aqara motion sensor. And the Eve motion sensor is $50. So it's $50 for that one right now. I'll drop a link to this one. These are probably the two that I use in terms of motion sensors. Let's see what you guys think in the chat. Jeff from Michigan says, my wife is loving the FP2 sensor we added. Dude, that's incredible. You got wife approval on the FP2 sensor because that's a tough one. That's a tough one. My wife was just I don't know if she was cursing, but she wasn't super thrilled with one of my automations from the FP2 sensor just a couple days ago, actually. But Jeff says now when she watches TV in the living room, my automations for lights and such don't have to run. I also set up one in the bedroom for when she goes to bed. Very cool. I love that. I'm glad to hear you're able to get those automations working well. I've been like tweaking some of mine. So I have another FP2 sensor. Is it up here? No, I don't think I have that. Let's see. I will pull that up as well for those who might not know. This is an occupancy sensor, and for the longest time, these you could not get, so they're on sale a little bit right now. I do love this thing. Let's see. I'll drop a link to that as well. FP2 sensor. These things are amazing. Not without fault. You have to plug it in somewhere, which to me is the biggest downside, but what it does is amazing. Did a whole video on it, the automations you can do. I've been trying to automate my larger area in our our living room kitchen area, and so that was one of the automations that my wife is not crazy about, but you got to tweak them, and Jeff says it's worth taking your time to set up the FP2 correctly. It's different than other sensors. 100% agree with that, so thank you for sharing that, Jeff. Bill says, I'm using the Eve sensor and Lutron sensor for my Lutron switches. Okay, Lutron makes a good motion sensor as well, but those don't support HomeKit natively, unfortunately. And Trey says, I love both of those sensors as well. So there you go. So there's some good recommendations for motion sensors. All right, back to our questions. And let's see. How much do you get paid from YouTube? So creators get paid. I mean, it varies completely on as far as like Google AdSense is what you get. So when YouTube shows ads and stuff like that, it varies, based on watch time for different what do you call it? Different niches, different. I don't know. From what I understand, it varies greatly. It's not enough to pay the bills. That's why a lot of creators, like myself, will work with brands and do sponsorships and stuff like that. If you're going to try to actually make a living on YouTube, so it's definitely not enough to pay the bills. But it's good to have, I suppose. What's your favorite cam? SEC cam these days? What do you mean by SEC cam? Somebody let me know what that means. SEC cam. My favorite HomeKit camera, maybe. Security camera. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. I'm thinking of, I don't know, I overcomplicated it. My favorite security camera. So I really do love having the PoE cameras hardwired because I'm using the Reolink cameras. They're all hardwired to an NVR locally. So I have the local recordings. They're recording 24/7. They're hardwired, so there's no latency or anything. But I also have them working in HomeKit and recording in iCloud through HomeKit Secure Video. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Now that's not native HomeKit, so maybe that doesn't answer the question. For native HomeKit, I would say my favorite ones right now, I really like the Eve cam, the Eve outdoor camera, the one that has I'll pull it up so you can see, the one that has the motion sensor built in. Oop, there we go. So this guy right here, they sell it in white now also. This kind of replaces a light fixture. So I like that one. I like that it has that floodlight built in and works really good. For me, let's see, what other ones am I a fan of? I don't really use Aqara cameras. Are great for indoors, so they have a few options, and I just don't use a whole lot of indoor cameras, to be honest. But Aqara ones are great when I do want to use an indoor camera. They're pretty affordable too. And also, I do like the Eve indoor camera. Again, don't use a lot of indoor cameras at all. let's see, is there Circle View is another one I'm using still for outside. I actually have that one in my garage right now. Frederick says, love the Aqara G3 pan and tilt camera. Actually a camera hub too. Greg says, recently purchased and installed 2 Logitech Circle View cameras outside. Fantastic. Yeah, so that's probably the one I would go to for native HomeKit support for an outdoor camera if you have somewhere to plug it in. Assuming you don't have, you know, like a light fixture like this, because this is a good one if you have a light fixture, but if you don't, the Logitech Circle View camera is a really good option. There's their doorbell version. Where is the camera? Did I hit doorbell? Yep. Autofill. Whoa, what happened to that? The image looks a little bit skewed there, but yeah, that's the one right there. It's a good one. Like I said, I got that working in my garage right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, Thorough Smart Home. I made it after dealing with my very old MacBook Pro's slow editing. I feel you. I've been there. I know the feeling. All right, now let's see, back to questions. Do you know how to make it where I can always view my Ring cameras live on a monitor? I don't, because I do not use Ring cameras at all. Sorry, I'm all on HomeKit, Apple Home. I mean, I guess you could be using them through Scripted or Homebridge or something like that, but yeah, I don't use any of the Ring cameras personally. Been experimenting with temperature sensors as our next project. In your opinion, what home products, do you feel are lacking, missing a variety of? Well, I would say, let's see. I don't know. You guys answer that question for me. So let's answer that question for Sam. So Sam says he's been experimenting with temperature sensors as his next project. So Sam makes smart home projects, by the way. In your opinion, what home products do you feel are lacking and missing a variety of? There are a number of temperature sensors out there, some pretty affordable ones. So that's not something I feel we're lacking in terms of temperature sensors. What do you guys think? Curious. Green Arrow says vacuums with home support. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not for lack of manufacturers producing them. That's just for lack of HomeKit support, unfortunately, when it comes to vacuums. But that was actually one of my first thoughts as well. Let's see, any suggestions there? Lone Star says, wouldn't trust Ring anymore. Appliances, yeah, there you go. So appliances could be, okay, stuff like, you know, maybe stoves and washer dryers, things like that maybe. Water temperature sensors for hot tubs. Okay, so water sensors. One thing I haven't really seen, I'm trying to think of native HomeKit support. There really hasn't been any native HomeKit water shutoff valves, I don't think. So that's one that is probably lacking. I mean, I've used a few and highly recommend using them for usually ported over to HomeKit through Homebridge or something like that. But I don't know of any water shutoff valves that support HomeKit natively. So that could be one. We have in-wall switch with thread support. Okay, so yeah, I guess when it comes to thread or matter, there's definitely some products that might be lacking. So 09747 blah 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 says in-wall switch with thread support. Affordable light switches, Lutron. I think we're seeing more and more light switches out there nowadays. Another one I do hear people say sometimes is, I know some people like the in-wall outlets, like a smart plug basically, but an in-wall version. I've used one or two that work with HomeKit in the past, but I'm not a huge fan of those personally, because I have a hard time committing to putting an in-wall outlet that I want always smart. I don't know, that's me personally, but I have seen people say they'd like to see some more of that. Ceiling fans, more shades. I've actually been working on a video for shades coming pretty soon, hopefully. Some Matter smart shades. All right. So hopefully that gave you some insight there, Sam. Let's see. Is there a smart swamp cooler controller of any sort that anyone knows of? A smart swamp cooler. First of all, what is a swamp cooler? Let's see. Okay, so one that you put like water and stuff in. I got you. Okay, I don't know of one of these that supports HomeKit natively. Sorry, wrong button there. Anybody know of something like this that supports HomeKit natively? I do not. I could use one in here right now. Speaking of, I have a fan right over here plugged into a smart plug. I had to cut it off for the live stream. If I start sweating today, it's because it's getting hot in here. I think something's going on with our AC. And looking at these right here really makes me wish I had one sitting next to me. But I don't know of one that supports HomeKit natively. Did anybody else? Let's see. What do you say about IKEA smart home and the God, I cannot say this. I cannot say this word. I always want to say diarrhea. I'm sorry. I can't help it. That's just what my brain goes to when I see this word. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have not used this hub to answer your question. Sorry, I got off track. I have not used this hub. I used the last IKEA hub a while ago. It kind of turned me off from IKEA because I didn't have a very good experience with that. Now I know some of you probably love IKEA and love the IKEA smart home stuff. I hear good things about it, so don't take shots at me for saying that. That was my experience with the last hub. So I haven't used this hub, and I really haven't used any IKEA stuff since then, and that was at least a year ago. Would love to see more smart AC split unit controllers. That's a good one too. There's not a whole lot of those either. That's a good suggestion. I appreciate that. And we got, hold on, let's see. I got to switch back to my chat. We got a super chat from Sam. Thank you, Sam. Laughing at me there. Where's my, there it is. Where's my super chat button? There we go. Super chat. Thank you, Sam, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Question, why every time I turn around I can't do anything with my HomePod? The device still works, but I can't do anything with it. I don't know. I'm not sure. John, what are you trying to do with it? You said it works, but I can't do anything with it. So I'm not really sure what that means. Yeah, so Brian says, what are you trying to do? So while you guys discuss that, I'm going to go back into the questions and try to work through some of y'all's questions here. Question, do you have any insights about the Aqara thread motion sensor since the Aqara door and window sensor P2 just launched? That's a good question. I do not have any insight on this, so we have it right here. This is the door and window sensor. Might as well use that second camera here. So the Aqara door and window sensor with Matter support was released recently. I did a video on this if you want to check it out. Supports thread. So this was actually Aqara's first thread-based product, and it was way back, I think, in CES of 2022, I believe, when they first announced this, and they did announce a motion sensor along with it. I have not heard anything. I would assume that maybe it's coming since this was released, but I don't know. I have a feeling that motion sensors might be a little bit more tricky, especially with something new to Aqara anyways in regards to thread and Matter. But yeah, I don't have any information on that, but I'll keep my eye out, and if we hear anything, you guys will be the first to know. I'll let you know during these live streams here. Trey says, I have not upgraded. And guys, too, real quick, just a reminder, if you're watching or just tuning in, if you have a question, please submit it in the pinned, should be a Q&A where you can submit questions. And I'm kind of working through those questions, and I'll do my best to answer everybody that way. That way I don't miss your comment in just the regular general chat there, okay? Yeah, with that said, Trey says, I have not upgraded any of my devices to Matter. Would you recommend me update my devices to support Matter? Good question, Trey. And I actually have a video coming out pretty soon. I just kind of referenced it a second ago, but I have a video coming out just for you, just for anybody thinking this. I've had, literally, okay, speaking of Matter, like let's go through. We got, Matter. I don't know. Can you guys see these? Hold on. Let's do this here. Oh, wrong button again. We got Matter. The 2.0 smart button, which supports Matter. Did a video on this guy recently. Matter, more Matter. So we got Matter over Wi-Fi, Matter over Thread. Just lots of Matter. There's Matter bridges. More Matter. I told you I'm literally surrounded by smart home products right now. And so I have had some questions because there's been a lot of videos lately really about a lot of these new Matter products. And I know some of you have asked me basically same thing Trey is saying here. So I do have a video coming out that's just going to share my thoughts on Matter. But I will say my experience has been a lot better with Matter over the, just kind of in a nutshell, an overview. My experience has been better in the past few months than where it was earlier in the year. So I was not very thrilled with Matter at the time, earlier in the year. It's to be expected that it was going to be rocky, It does seem to be going better for me. I will say, if everything's working for you let's just say, for example, you use HomeKit, you don't use anything else, you don't care to use anything else, and everything's working, I don't really see any need to update, say you have firmware updates available for your existing products. You really don't need to if everything's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That said, if there's new Matter products out there that you're thinking about getting, stuff that maybe just came out, I say go for it. It'll work with your existing, HomeKit stuff. That said, if you do want to use say other smart home platforms, or there's a good reason for you to update your products to support Matter, then I think it's a better time now to do it than it was just a few months ago. I think it's gotten a lot better. I'm not going to say you won't have any issues at all, but the Matter stuff for me, especially in HomeKit and Apple Home, has been working a lot better than it was. Google Home still gives me a little trouble. I don't use it a whole lot, but everything in HomeKit has been better in my experience. So I hope that kind of helps. And like I said, I have a video coming out soon that'll go into more depth with that. You can be on the lookout for that. Can I use abode sensors without subscribing to a plan? Maybe not sure I want home monitoring, but would like it as an option. I like the Aqara stuff, but they don't offer monitoring. This is a good question. Thank you, Husky Dave. Love the name there. But yeah, I actually use abode sensors. So I use a little bit of all of this stuff, actually. I have a lot of Aqara stuff too. But let's pull it up for those that might not know. So I would recommend probably this one. You may already have it, but if you hear my dog, the last live stream, the dog, I literally could hear the dog banging on the door trying to get in here. So this time she's behind me. I don't know if you can see her. You probably can't see her. She's right behind that little comment, but she's sleeping right now. And I can see her twitching. I figured I'd let her in for this one. Anyways, back to the question. The abode sensors, yes, you can use them without subscribing to the plan. So I have done that. I think I'm like grandfathered in. They don't make it very obvious. So I've had mine for a long time before they required any plan. And I'm pretty sure you still can use them without subscribing to a plan. I would just recommend reaching out to Abode and asking them that question first to make sure you don't have to subscribe at all. There are some limitations when you don't subscribe to anything, but that's one of the reasons why I love the Abode stuff, because I don't have to pay for monitoring. Like, I'm not really crazy about that, but I have the option if I want to. And you can always enable professional monitoring for like a month or two or whenever you want and then cancel it. So you can do that, and I am doing that. Like I said, I would just contact them just to make sure and make sure that nothing has changed, just because I might be grandfathered into some like old plan. I know they've made some changes, so I would just double check that. But I am using it just in the way you explained it as well. So yeah, it's a good security system that supports, HomeKit. Let's see. Aqara lock is great. I'm trying to check into the chat too every now and then while I'm answering these questions. Again, if you guys have any questions, submit the questions in the Q&A at the top of the chat, wherever you see that. Should be a blue bar that says submit your questions here for the Q&A. Best motion sensor for HomeKit. We already kind of covered this. Hue is another good one. I actually didn't talk about that one. The Hue motion sensor is good because it works outside. Another plus for the Eve motion sensor we discussed. So the Eve and the Hue has an outdoor motion sensor. They also have an indoor one. I've not used the indoor one, but I have the Hue outdoor motion sensor. It works great. The best, if I had to pick one of those two, I'd probably, if you're, let's say indoors, I'd probably go with the Aqara just because it's cheaper. And it works really well. Both of those require a hub. So again, probably Aqara. Hue does, I believe, expose the light sensor to HomeKit. I don't think the Aqara, actually I know the Aqara one doesn't. I don't think the Aqara P1 does. So that might be something that could sway you towards the Hue one. But both of them, I think, work really well. They both work using Zigbee connected to their own hub. So Jeff says, we use the Hue outdoor motion sensor on our driveway. Lights outside are 30% or less motion on that, then 100% until no motion for 3 minutes. That's exactly how I'm using my Hue outdoor motion sensor as well. So nice suggestion there from Jeff. All right. What are you using to switch from your camera to computer screen? So I don't know if my cord is long enough for it to reach. I don't want to pull anything out here. Let's see if I can show you that. Can you see that? I just have a little tiny baby mini Stream Deck. I guess I could have done an Amazon search for that too. But yeah, I got this little Stream Deck here with some different buttons and stuff like that I can kind of move back and forth between and just switch like that. After installing the Aqara U100 lock, I'm finding I like it better than the Encode Plus. Are you finding the same? It's quicker with HomeKey and more feature-rich. Thoughts? That's interesting. I have not found the same. I really love my Schlage Encode Plus. I found that the Aqara lock is a little slower for me with HomeKit. Now with HomeKey, it's fast. It's just as fast, but it's hard to really be any faster for me than the Encode Plus. The Encode Plus works great. I actually just posted a little reel on Instagram today showing all the smart locks that I use in my house. So go follow me on Instagram or TikTok if that's your thing. I'm over there too. But yeah, I did a little video showing all the smart locks that I'm using in my house right now. And these two are on the list, the two that support Apple Home Key. But yeah, I love my Schlage. I don't use the Encode Plus near as much. It's on like a secondary door that I don't use as much. So it's kind of hard to say without having just that regular use like I have with the Encode Plus. But, Home Key seems to work well on both. And yeah, I'm a fan of the Encode Plus. I'm a fan of both of them, to be honest. They both work really well. Let's see. All right, question. I need to extend my Aqara Zigbee network. Saul says, I got an Aqara smart plug to use as a repeater, but my door sensor still wants to connect to my Aqara hub. Any ideas? So, Saul, it's going to still technically connect to your Aqara hub, okay? So when you add that smart plug, the Aqara smart plug does act as a Zigbee repeater, and your, let's see, you said it was a door sensor, I think. Your door sensor is not going to connect directly to the smart plug in terms of like what you see in the Aqara app. It's all the Zigbee network. Basically, Zigbee is a mesh network, which you probably know, and those connections and everything kind of all happens behind the scenes. I don't know of a good way to like visualize or to see that, but it's, as far as the Aqara app goes, the door sensor is still going to connect to your Aqara hub as far as what it shows in the Aqara app. Okay, but once you add that smart plug to, and also pair that with the same hub, it should improve that thread mesh network. Sorry, thread, not thread. That Zigbee network, and give you a better connection for the door sensor if you have kind of like the smart plug in between, let's say, the door sensor and the hub. I hope that makes sense and answers your question. Let's see, more questions. All right, I'm working through these questions, guys. Again, you can drop your questions. I'm answering questions today, as many as I can. So, sorry, stretching out a little bit. Submit those in the blue bar. You should see it pinned at the top of the chat. Which side? You guys tell me, which side is the chat on for you? Is it on this side, my right, or my left? I never know which way to point. But yeah, pinned at the top of the chat, you should see a blue bar with the Q&A, my left. So this way. Thank you. Appreciate that. You're all right, you're left. Okay, so yeah, pinned at the top of the chat, somewhere over here. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Thank you, guys. All right, what plugin have you been using for the Reolink cameras on Scripted? There's actually a Reolink plugin that you can use. So when I first started, I don't think that was available, and I was just using like what's the name of the other one? Oh gosh, so, using RTSP basically. But yeah, I'm using a Reolink plugin now, and it works really well. It makes setup easier. Question: any update with HomePod recognition sound? I don't know of any updates lately. I'm not sure what you're looking for. Maybe different sounds, but I haven't heard of any updates lately. With Aqara, would you buy the new M2 hub or the G4 camera, or wait for the new hub? Also, with door and window sensors, Aqara or Eve? Whew, these are some tough questions. So, I'm a fan of all these products. Hold on, let me take a sip of water. I would say, in terms of which hub should you get, Vicky, I would just look at the functionality that you want. So the G4 camera is awesome. Probably the biggest difference in those two is going to be with the G4, obviously there's a camera built in. With the M2, you can hardwire that directly to your Ethernet. So which one of those is more important? Both of them can actually act as an IR blaster, and both of them pretty much have the other similar functionalities. They both expose a security system to HomeKit, stuff like that. The M2 hub does now support Matter, so if that's important, you have that. The G4, I don't think yet has been updated for that. So it just depends on what functionality you need. Do you want a camera, or do you want to hardwire something, to your router? That's probably how I would look at that. And also with door and window sensors, Aqara or Eve, I'm a fan of both. Some people will say they only want to use Thread products. If that's the case, I actually have one. Where are we at? Right here. So the Aqara door and window sensor, these now support Matter. So, if you're buying new, I guess it depends on if you're trying to get into the Matter stuff. Then I would go with these. These they connect, to Matter, connect to HomeKit over Thread. Great product. These are a little bit more pricey. And I guess now with Aqara, you have options. So you can get the Matter door and window sensor. So these are pretty much going to work very similarly. They both support Matter. They both connect over Thread. I'm not sure the price difference. I think the prices are probably pretty similar as well. With that said, I am a big fan of just the traditional Aqara door and window sensors. I have a ton of them. Usually if I need a new sensor, a new contact sensor for a project or something, I'll just get one of those because they work really well. They work, they're fast, they're reliable. I already have an Aqara hub, so I don't mind that. They're super affordable, so I don't think you can really go wrong. If you already have an Aqara hub, you don't mind Zigbee products, I would probably just get the cheap one, which is just the traditional Aqara door and window sensor. They're probably like $15 or something a piece. But if you want to be, I guess, maybe a little more future proof or something, then you might want to look at one of these two. But I can't really say which is better. I think they all, they're all good. Dreddy Dreadlocks, what's going on, man? So drop questions. I see yours, so I'll answer that here. But do drop questions. Anybody in the over this side, right? In the blue, if you see the blue Q&A. But I don't know when Matter is going to support video. I hope that it's this year. I hope it comes with the next update to Matter. But I'm not super hopeful on that. I don't have any insight or inside knowledge on that, but I'm not super hopeful. I'm a little hopeful. I expect we'll probably see appliances and robot vacuums, hopefully first. I think cameras will probably be the last device category or one of the last ones to gain support. So I don't know if we'll see it on this next update, but it would be a really awesome, pleasant surprise. Jerry says, I did, but the blue box, it didn't work for me. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know why the blue box wouldn't work for you. You guys let me know if you have issues. I'm trying to kind of bounce back and forth between the questions and the actual chat here the best I can. But that way I won't miss it if you get it into the blue box. Maybe it could depend on what device you're on, maybe if you're having issues. Let's see. Okay, we got some more questions I'm going to try to get through. Frederick says, did you see we had a new member join? I saw your comment, Frederick, but I didn't see it. So it must have happened before. And it's showing that person. I didn't see it in the chat. So I did not see that. I couldn't tell who it was. But welcome, new members. If you are a new member, it's great to have you. And yeah, join us over on Discord if you haven't already. I'm in there every day. In our member Discord server. Which air purifiers should I buy? There are not many with Matter, and I'm looking for something for other household members. I saw from IKEA, but they apparently don't have an air sensor. So I don't know of any that support Matter personally. There's a few good ones. My go-to really, and I mean, it just depends if Matter is like a deal breaker for you, because again, I don't know of any air purifiers that support Matter. But this is like my go-to. You know what? It might not even be available on here because of Prime Day. I saw they sold out. Yep, I think they did. So the Air Versa is the one that I like. I did a video on that. There's also the Smart Me is a really good one. Those are probably the two that I like. Also the Vocalink is a good one, but that one's a little pricey and it's hard to get as well. So I'd probably go between the either Smart Me or the Air Versa. Those both support HomeKit. No Matter support. I'm not even sure if air purifiers support Matter. Does anybody know if there is an air purifier that supports Matter yet? I have not heard of one. Anyone know if the Q&A works with iPad YouTube app? The Muppet 94 says, click on the blue box, click ask something, then click the chat line will replace itself with the ability to ask a question. Should work on iOS. Thank you, Brian, for the assist there. And yeah, you guys can obviously feel free to drop a question or whatever in the general chat too. I just might miss it. So I'm trying to work through all the questions in the Q&A for sure. What are some good EU available locks? I don't really know a whole lot, to be honest. I am not the expert on this by any means. Yeah, I really don't know what's that one called? I've heard good things about Nuki. I think that's the name of it. Let me see if I can find. I've heard good things about that. Again, not being able to use a lot of these. See if I can find that one. I thought it was called Nuki or something like that. If anybody has any suggestions, Yale, Linus, and Aqara A100. There you go. Thank you, Steve. Yale, Linus, and Aqara A100. So A100, yeah, so here's the Nuki lock. I've heard some people talk about this one. Again, I haven't used it, so it does support Apple Home. Sorry, wrong button. That's this one. I think that's available there in the EU. The Aqara A100, Steve said, is available. I wasn't 100% sure where this is available, so I didn't want to recommend that, but Steve says it might be. Tech for HomeKit, thank you, Tech for HomeKit says Nuki Lock is the best for the European market. And here's the A100. There's no doubt to me that this one would be incredible if it's available where you live. I'm just not 100% sure where all it's available, but Steve said Aqara A100, so maybe it is available in the UK or EU. But yeah, hopefully that helps some. Again, sorry, I don't have a whole lot of experience with those. Any recommendations for an affordable router? I was looking at Orbi 6E, but it's way too expensive. Currently using Eero, and the speeds I'm getting are terrible. Gosh, I'm not really sure. You know, it's one of those things, you kind of get what you pay for. The Orbi is good. It's a good investment if you can go ahead and get you a good router, a good mesh system. TP-Link has some that are pretty good, and I think those are more on the affordable side. They have Wi-Fi 6E. Let me see if I can. I've used them a little bit. I haven't used them in my house, but I've set them up for like friends and stuff. Let's see, TP-Link. So the Deco, and they have different options here, but you can see like the prices are pretty affordable. I think these are honestly going to be similar though to what you're going to get with the Eero stuff. So, you know, yeah, as Poker McMaster says, pretty much you get what you pay for with routers. Wise Mesh Wi-Fi is TP-Link under the hood. Okay. So... yeah, that's a tough one there. I mean, you're going to kind of get what you pay for, I think, when it comes to routers, unfortunately. Steve says mesh routers about placement and local interference. Yeah, so there could be a lot of things. It just depends on what all you've tried, Robin, in terms of like getting them to work. I mean, you said you have the Eero, and I guess it depends which Eeros you have too. If they're older, maybe that's an issue, but I've heard a lot of people that really like the Orbis. I mean, Eeros, sorry. Austin said, I got the Orbi 6 mesh, not 6E, still excellent speeds. Yeah, that's another thing too. You don't really need like the newest of the new, like the 6E, or you're going to even start seeing Wi-Fi 7 routers coming out really soon if you haven't already. And that's really not necessary for what we have. So if you are trying to save money, I would probably go with Wi-Fi 6 at this point, at today's date. If you're looking to save a little bit of money, you could probably save some by not going like 6E or even 7. Maybe wait a little bit longer, because 7's right around the corner. They're going to be selling those if they haven't already. Hey Shane, I'm having issues trying to get my PoE Reolink through Scripted to show in HomeKit. I've installed Scripted on my MacBook Pro directly. Any sources where it shows step-by-step installation? It's been a while since I went through the process, so I don't know of any. Let's see. If there is anything, I would have linked it in the video that I made on PoE's system. So I used Reolink. You may have seen the video. If there was any resources, I would have linked them in there at the time. I don't know about specifically on a MacBook Pro if there's any resources. You said I'm having issues getting them to show in HomeKit. So are they just not showing? One thing I will mention, if you're using Reolink and the Reolink plugin, or maybe even another plugin through Scripted, it could, if they're just not showing up in HomeKit, but they seem to be working maybe in Scripted, or well, actually, I don't think they would work in Scripted either. So it kind of depends. But if they're not showing up, then make sure the resolution of your live feed of your camera streams is 2K or less, I think is what I got to work. So if your stream is 4K, for example, the plugin or Scripted has issues with that. So maybe that will help you. Hopefully that's, it's something like that, an easy fix. Fred, let's see, Sigmund Judge. Hey Sigmund, how's it going? Sigmund says, I run a Asus XT9 mesh system, really good for coverage and customizable. So there we go. Thanks, Sigmund, for that suggestion. I've also heard good things about Asus. I never used them personally. Okay, if you could make the ultimate smart home hub, what would it look like as far as protocols go? Okay, cool question. Thank you, Paul. Well, we're going to have some, I think, pretty soon. I mean, obviously, I think if I could make the ultimate home, home hub, it would have like everything. I would like to see Z-Wave built in. I would like to see Zigbee built in. Obviously, Thread and Matter support. So it'd be cool if it could be a Thread border router. Probably not necessary for that since we all have other Thread border routers, but definitely support for Matter, Zigbee, Z-Wave. Is there anything I'm missing? That's probably it. And we're gonna have some options, man. I have the Homey Bridge, like the original one, and I'm waiting and hoping, excited to try out the Homey Pro. That's basically what the Homey Pro is. Hoops Pro is coming, so we're gonna be seeing a lot of these kinds of products. I don't think I'll have to dream it. I think we'll actually have products just like this in the very near future. All right, so I'm going to try to do like a lightning round and try to get through as many questions as I can because we're running a little low on time. Can I put smart light bulbs in the bathroom and outside? Yes, you can. There's just no guarantee that they're going to work forever. That said, I've done it outside and I have had no issues with them not working. I know a number of people who have done this, but there's no guarantee that they'll work, but or last forever. But I know a lot of people who have done it with no issues. Any insights on Aqara's upcoming light strip T1? Well, it's coming is about all I can really say. I have heard a little bit. Stay tuned. Yeah, excited about that one. Hopefully soon. I don't know exactly when, but yeah, it should be. I think it'll be Aqara's next release. Do you have any idea why Eve Matter motion sensors goes unresponsive whenever it hits 0 lux? I do not know. That's really strange. Only when it hits 0 lux? That's odd. I have not heard that. I don't know. Sorry about that. That's a really strange one. I would definitely reach out to Eve though if you're noticing anything weird like that because Eve has really good customer service, so maybe they can help you out. Poker McMaster says, what was your experience putting up that Do Home LED ceiling light? I read the reviews on Amazon and the reviews were terrible, with most saying there is no installation instructions. That's 100% correct. There were 0 installation instructions. It was really weird. I actually got a number of, so for those that don't know, where's my box? I think I did share this last week. I got this like really cheap smart ceiling light on Amazon during Prime Day. I couldn't resist. I installed it. I shared it a little bit over on Instagram, and I had a number of questions. So I'm actually thinking about releasing a video on YouTube about it, just because there was a number of questions. So it seems like some of you guys are interested in that. So I'll probably do a video on it. Let me know what you think. But yeah, the installation, it's not hard at all. I mean, it's just a couple of wires, but there were 0 installation instructions. So that is completely correct. I don't know if there is a smart air purifier working with Matter, so I'm thinking of air purifiers from IKEA. I think I already answered that question. Do you have any idea why Eve matter motion sensors? Okay, already answered that question too. Thorough Smart Home, would you like to see a home electrical panel integrate natively with Apple Home? For example, panels from both Span and Leviton for a complete energy monitoring and control. I would like to see that. I think it would be cool. I'm a fan of the more products and options we have. I'm on board. For me personally, I don't think that's something that I would use a whole lot. Maybe that would change, but I'm not huge into like energy monitoring and kind of keeping track of all that stuff. I do know a lot of people are, so I would love to see that so that people who are into that have that option. And so yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Hey, what's up? Any videos on switching from Habitat to HomeKit? I don't have any videos on that specifically. I've integrated HomeKit or Habitat with my HomeKit a little bit, but just using the Habitat integration, but don't have any videos on switching everything over. Do you have any idea why Eve? Guys, gotta ask the question once. I'm doing my best to get to all of these. Please only ask your question once. What do you think about the Level Lock Plus? It looks great. I wish it used Thread or something like that instead of Bluetooth. Maybe that update's gonna come, but it does look awesome. It has Apple HomeKey, which I'm a huge fan of. I haven't used it personally, but it looks awesome. How have your new Aqara door sensors been working? Been working well. I've got one installed here. I did a video on it. Kind of shares my experience, but I haven't had any issues with it so far. Question, unable to get my Aqara water sensors to show up in HomeKit. Any help? Well, if you have your bridge already paired in HomeKit and your bridge, like your Aqara bridge, your Aqara hub is showing up in the Home app and your sensor is paired to the hub, chances are it's usually, most of the time, believe it or not, it's in a room somewhere in HomeKit and you just don't know where it is. So just look around, look in all the rooms. You got to check the little status up top for sensors. Chances are it's in there and you just don't know it, believe it or not. So you just might have to, a lot of times it'll put it in like a weird room or something like that. Oh, hey, Dreadlocks, your question did work there. I see it. We answered that one earlier. Are you going to do a video on scripted? I set it up but had issues with the interface just showing up blank, installed on Raspberry Pi. So I did do a video about PoE systems and scripted a little bit a while ago. You can look through my channel, but I didn't really go in depth as far as like setting, the setup and like a real in-depth tutorial style video. I don't have any plans on doing that. But you guys let me know. I'm always open for suggestions. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm going to mess up. Tai Chan says, I'm sorry for butchering your name there. If you linked your Aqara hub via Matter, you won't see the water sensor. Great point. I did not think about that. So Matter maybe doesn't support water sensors, so it might not show up if that's the case. So that's a good point right there. I updated my HomePods to the new beta, but they don't seem to allow multiple commands. I'm not using the betas, so I try my best not to do that because it typically ends up making everybody in the house mad when things go awry. So I have not tried it. Same question again. In your opinion, what is the best smart plugs out there that support Thread? Is Thread better than using Wi-Fi? Good question, Trey. I say yes. I would rather use Thread products than Wi-Fi. I don't mind a few Wi-Fi products here and there, but especially if it's something you have a lot of, smart light switches. If you have a lot of smart plugs, I would probably go with Thread whenever it's an option. I'm looking around at all the smart products on my desk right here. So the best one, I'd probably go with the Eve Energy smart plug that supports Thread. It does support Matter too, so you're future-proof there. I've also used this guy right here. So this is an Onvis smart plug, and it does support Thread. I'm actually using it for my little fan over there, and it works. But I'd probably go with Eve just in terms of reliability, and they're just great products. But this is another option, and we do have smart plugs that are Wi-Fi that even support Matter now. So there's a lot of options out there, but for the best, I'd probably go with the Eve Energy. Thread has less latency than Wi-Fi. Yeah, and so there's some thing, you got to have a good, strong Thread network and stuff like that too. But all right, guys, we gotta stop spamming that the Q&A here with the same comments. Hey Shane, so sorry about that. Jason says, hey Shane, I've been having some issues with my Aqara devices ever since I updated to Matter. I cannot create any automations with the devices. I've not seen that issue. You can't create any automations in the Home app. You should, if they're working in the Home app, you should be able to create automations. One thing I experienced, now I went back and I'm not using any of my Aqara stuff with Matter right now, at least the hub, because I was kind of burned on that early on. It didn't work too well for me. But one thing I do remember was when I updated my M2 hub, it basically duplicated my Aqara stuff. So I don't know if that's happening. Maybe that has something to do with it. I was seeing like 2 of everything in the Home app. Maybe that has something to do with why you're, maybe it's your old ones. I don't know. But if they're working in the home app, if your Aqara stuff is working, you should be able to create automations with no issues. So I'm not really sure about that one. Can a hue motion sensor only work when light levels drop between a certain level? You can use the light level as an automation trigger if you want. Let's see, any updates on Nanoleaf Skylight? No, or Skylight? No, but I am waiting. I will let you know because I have been looking for this. Do you know your delivery drivers by name now? You would think so. You know what's funny is that I still, with YouTube and all these smart home, all these packages you see here, my wife still gets more packages at the front door than I do. I just do not understand that. But yeah, it's true. Do you have any idea why? Okay, same question I keep getting. Can I use smart light bulbs in the, oh, answered that one already. I have not used the E1, the beta software on the Hub E1. Worried about the Matter update. Again, if you have a really good reason to use Matter, then maybe give it a shot. If you don't have a really good reason to update Matter, I would just wait. Wait until you have to, personally. Do you want to test out Matter for Eve motion blinds? I would be willing to do that. Yeah, I would be willing to. I have been using some other Matter blinds lately, so I'd be willing to try out the Eve motion blinds. They're really good blinds. Jerry says, I'll ask Roy to contact you to get the Matter update for the... Oh, okay, cool. Hey, and there we go. Awesome. Thank you, Jerry. I'm creating the project you did with Reolink under the cabinet. I'm getting some flicker on the strips. Do you have any thoughts on how to fix this? Gene says, I'm guessing poor connection somewhere. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the issue. So for the longest time, I would have a similar issue. And if the connection is just off at all, if you splice them anywhere and reconnected, like we did in that video, you will get some flicker. Or what I actually had was like maybe 2 out of the, how many was it? 4 pin on those? I think it was 4 pin. But anyways, if like only a couple of the connections are good, the color will actually change on like half of it. So you might see that as well. It's definitely a connection thing. So just kind of go in and tinker until you can get those connections really good. Jason says, I'm not sure why my questions are not getting to you, but here's another. Can you do a video on the Homey Hub? Yeah, so I will be hopefully doing a video on that soon, the Homey Pro. once it's available. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. I just purchased a new home 3 weeks ago and can't wait to make my home Apple Home Smart. What will be the first product to purchase? I have one Apple HomePod and one Mini. It's just whatever you want to do, whatever you want to automate. It's totally up to you. I mean, if you don't have a good router or Wi-Fi system, I would start there. So first up, make sure you're covered there. You have a good foundation. And from there, you've already got your HomePod, so you've got your your HomeKit hub already with that HomePod. Now it's just time to have fun. Get you some smart plugs. If you want a garage door opener, you can get that. My buddy who lives near me, he just started an Apple Home, and he just started with 1 or 2 smart plugs. I actually gave him a light strip, so light strips are a lot of fun when you're getting started. And we got some smart shades recently for him. So smart shades are great. So yeah, whatever you think would be fun. How does the advancement of AI influence future smart home automation products? Any current integrations that you're looking at? Nothing that I'm really looking at now. I mean, I'm kind of watching. It's really interesting. Apple, we just talked about it a little bit earlier. Apple just announced that they're kind of working on AI for Siri and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely going to play a role. I don't really have any thoughts necessarily on what it's going to look like, but it's definitely, I'm excited to see it. It's definitely going to play a big role, I think, in especially with like the voice assistants and the automations and stuff. Don't really know where it's going to go, but I'm here for it 100%, and I'm excited about it. All right, so last question I'm going to take today in the Q&A, and then I'll get back to the regular chat real quick. What security camera, doorbell, a smart lock do you recommend? Okay, so security cameras. If you're going with just keeping it simple, HomeKit native. We talked about this earlier in the stream. For outdoor, I like the Eve Cam. I like Logitech Circle View cameras for outdoors. For inside, I like the Aqara cameras. And there's other options too that are good, but those are the ones that come to mind. Also the Eve camera indoors. Let's see, doorbell. I went back to the Logitech Circle View doorbell. That's the one I'm currently using. I've used a number of them. I've used also the Aqara one is good for a lot of people. For me, I just didn't like that wide horizontal feed. I like the vertical feed for my doorbell, so that's why the main reason why I went back to the Logitech Circle View for my doorbell. And let's see, smart lock. God, that's tough. I'm gonna have to either. I gotta say the Schlage Encode Plus is definitely still a favorite. The Aqara U100, it's right up there with it. If budget is an issue or a concern at all, definitely the Aqara A100 is a great smart lock for the money. But yeah, probably those are the two that I would recommend. So, all right. Well, we've got through, I think, all the questions. That was a lot of them. Thank you guys for hanging out, sticking with me. We went only about 15 minutes over, so not too bad. But appreciate you guys hanging out. As always, it's been a lot of fun talking about smart home. I hope was able to answer your question, and this was enjoyable. And yeah, we will have a new video coming out this Sunday. So we didn't have one last week. We got a new video this Sunday. I've been working on a few of them. So if you haven't turned on notifications for the channel, you might want to, because I've been kind of experimenting with, putting out videos outside of that regular Sunday schedule. So I'm going to try to stick to Sundays, but we'll also have some other videos coming out here and there throughout the week. And of course, we have these live streams every Wednesday. And, just a lot of fun as we're all building our smart homes together, on this fun little smart home journey. Anyways, been a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I will see you in the next one. See you later.